Okay, yikes. It's Sunday, June 8th. It's day 140 of the Trump presidency. We have had a bit of a rough 48 hours, haven't we? If you're paying attention, then you know we have. Let's just get right into it. What's happening in Los Angeles right now? Actually, it sounds like it has mellowed out a bit. And that is actually for sure good news. Although I think it's a very ominous indication of what is to come in the future. Long story short, there have been immigration raids this week that have been extremely aggressive, and they are taking people from their job sites. They're taking parents from their children's graduations. Sorry, Snacks is right in the microphone. Not the right time. They're taking, parents from little kids, like I believe elementary school graduations, and I can't listen to the audio of these kids screaming for their parents. I can't stomach it. It's hard to think about. So the community is up in arms, and people went out to the streets to protest, and the protests were incredibly peaceful. Even the LAPD released a statement saying they do not want military personnel there. They don't want that. They don't want martial law instated in California. They have things under control. Yes, people are very upset, but the protests were peaceful. People were just marching, and they had signs, and that's it. Long story short, ICE and the police were shooting people with less than lethal rubber bullets. I mean, I've seen the bruises that they're leaving on people's bodies. I've seen videos of gigantic bruises. People know what they're getting themselves into when they go to these protests. They understand how dangerous it is, because it's incredibly dangerous right now. Just to be a person is dangerous right now. But in particular, especially if you are not a white person, and even if you are a white person, if you are an ally, all bets are off, right? Because they are sort of sparing no expense here. They're tear gassing people, even members of Congress, members of the press. There's people from our government out there trying to help. The National Guard was not deployed until today, and the last I heard there were 300, which is much less than Trump originally wanted to send. 300 National Guard troops. Gavin Newsom also made a statement and said that it's very clear that Trump is trying to incite more violence and instigate a worse situation, and that everything is under control there, and that sending the National Guard is only going to make things worse. However, as I said, the last I read, everything is subdued. People probably got scared and went home. And the protests are now few and far between. So people may have just realized how high the stakes are, heard the National Guard is coming, and hid. And I don't blame them. I don't know what the answer is right this moment. I've also today seen ironic videos of Trump supporters who run construction companies begging Donald Trump to please push through citizenship for the people that are getting arrested and deported right now, because they need them for their business to function. Hey, we begged you not to vote for this, and you did. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what comes next, right? My friends on the ground there are really scared. They're really afraid that things are going to get worse, and there's only one way to know what's coming next, and that is to wait and see. I just hope that we don't lose lives during this period of time, but and I also, to be honest with you, I hope for their sake that many of the people that are being hunted by ICE right now can just get out of here somehow. like, get out of the country. I don't think it's safe to be here. And I've seen some very sad videos of people who literally were born here, getting deported anyway. There's, again, all bets are off. They don't care who you are. It's going to be really hard to, there's no mercy in this situation. And you absolutely do not need to have committed any type of crime in order for them to detain you. Including children. I mean, I've seen videos of children that have been handcuffed, so just really gross. Really, really gross stuff. Elon and Trump are still not speaking, and Elon did go back and delete his accusation that Trump is in the Epstein files. I'm curious about that. I feel that was probably due to threats more than anything. I don't think that their showdown is over. I just think maybe they're taking it off stage. But I still think that there's people probably splitting, as far as like loyalty is concerned, that it's probably like splitting their party to a degree. I think, what's going to tell us a lot more is what happens with the budget bill. And we'll get to that in a second. I don't understand how Israel feels comfortable making this public proclamation, but Israel is vowing to stop the aid boat, the boat that's full of food and medical supplies that is being transported across the sea with Greta Thunberg. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Thunberg? I don't know. Anyway, you know who she is. So Greta's in the ship, and they're saying they're going to stop it. And that sounds like a threat. And, people right now that are waiting in food lines in Gaza are dying. They're being shot. Long story short, absolutely nothing has gotten better there. If anything, it's getting worse every day. And, yeah. Sorry. Sometimes I just think back to years and years ago before Trump was president and how much hope I had for the future and just how crazy it is. Like what has transpired is, it's like hard to believe that all of this has gone down. And granted, some of this was going on in the background the entire time, right? Again, the United States has never been even close to a perfect country. The United States has always been messed up and violent and problematic in so many ways. But I was naive enough to believe that the United States was moving in a positive direction. And not to say that we won't still, because in many respects, this may just be the death rattle of white supremacy and patriarchy and a lot of other things. Capitalism, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, Ukraine and Russia are also like full-blown sending drones and missiles back and forth. It doesn't sound like there's been a lot of deaths, which is great and interesting, but I'm happy to hear it. I think, again, Ukrainians are probably heavily prepared, and honestly, so are Russians, I'm sure. Like, everyone knows that they're in a very dangerous situation, so people are probably just hiding in literal bunkers, I would assume. Sad news that he belongs to the Centro Democratico Party, so I'm assuming that's like Democratic centrist. I don't know. I couldn't figure that out, but a Colombian presidential candidate named Miguel Uribe Turbay was shot in the head, and he is in critical condition. He was speaking to a crowd about the upcoming election, and it is, worldwide, the tension and the political turmoil, it's everywhere. There's nowhere that's not experiencing this. We are in a very tumultuous time for humanity, to be honest with you. Okay, so the tax bill. Mike Johnson is saying that he does not believe that Elon Musk has much of any influence, and that he believes that they will be able to pass this bill. I wouldn't discount that, and it's not because I think Elon Musk doesn't have any influence. It's because I know that they're threatening people. You know, Republicans have come out and said that they're being threatened. I know that they're threatening people. And I believe that because of that, they do probably have a high likelihood of getting that bill through. I'm not super hopeful. I know that that bill is incredibly disastrous. And it's not just because of the tax policies. There are so many things that that bill does to essentially demolish our democracy. Someone fed the entire bill into AI, and AI said that it looks like a tax bill, but it's literally dismantling our democracy. So, sorry, I have cat hair in my eye, so I really apologize that I keep like messing with my eye, but it's pretty itchy to have cat hair in your eye. That is the problem of having really fluffy cats, because when you touch them, you get cat hair in your eye. Anyway, yeah, we're at a very potentially dangerous and disastrous turning point in United States history, and there's nothing more to say about it. You know, I wasn't surprised when I saw what was happening in LA. I'm not surprised. I've been waiting for this, and it's going to come to the rest of the country. Like, they're not just going to do these incredibly aggressive ICE raids in California. They're starting there to make an example of California. Although I will say that Gavin Newsom also mentioned that he is considering like a tax protest because California makes an absolute buttload of money. I mean, it's literally, I think what it is, that it's 15% of the national GDP or something. So if they stop paying taxes, the U.S. government is going to feel it. They're going to feel it. Good for him. We need everyone to stand up to this. Anyways, I included this to try to keep you guys safe, but there is a salmonella outbreak linked to brown eggs, and it has sickened 79 people. 21 of them are in the hospital. It made it to 7 different states: Arizona, California, Illinois, Indiana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Nevada, Washington, and Wyoming. If you live in one of those states and you have brown eggs in your refrigerator, I would go see if you can find the company that it's linked to and see if you could figure out if it is a batch that was recalled. And if it was, please throw them away. Same has been true for tomatoes. And I don't remember what the states were for tomatoes. Cucumbers have had a really rough time lately. I wanted to buy some watermelon this week, and then I was like, you know what? I better not, because they lifted the regulations on the water supply that farmers can use, so it can just have a bunch of shit in it, literally shit. And so there's a lot more disease, E. coli, salmonella, other things getting into our food supply. Okay. Last story for tonight. Alex Jones has called on Trump to respond to Elon Musk's accusation that Trump is in the Epstein files. I never want to say the sentence again. I don't know why I'm doing this on camera. Good for Alex Jones. Alex Jones said he doesn't believe that Trump was involved in the things that Epstein did, which is an interesting perspective considering Katie Johnson, the 12-year-old girl that Trump assaulted on multiple occasions. And there are literal court documents. And they were introduced through Epstein. So that, that really puts a damper on Alex's assertion that Trump didn't participate. I mean, that and the fact that he's on all those flight logs and just in all those pictures and all the things he ever said about his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, and then the recorded interview with Epstein where Epstein refers to Trump as one of his very close friends, says a bunch of other stuff too. Anyway, I'm still glad Alex said that. Yeah, it does seem like there is an incredible amount of infighting happening behind the scenes. I guess a bunch of MAGA people are really mad at Alex Jones for saying that. What is his name? Steve Bannon was threatening to rip Elon's face off. So that's an interesting thing to say to someone. Yeah, we're in a very tumultuous time, and we have a long way to go. I suggest that you continue taking breaks from all this stuff, as much self-care as possible. We harvested some strawberries today. They're so much better than store-bought strawberries. It's not even close. It's not even like a close comparison how much better strawberries that you grow that are your own. It's because I can let them ripen all the way to the, where they're perfect before I pick them. I would love to grow literally all my own food. I wish I had the time to do that. I think a lot of us do, but it's pretty tough with a corporate job. Anyways, I really hope you guys are doing okay. It's Figment's first birthday on Tuesday, so we're celebrating tonight. Literally, as soon as I turn off the camera here, I'm going to go bake him a cake. And then we're making some cupcakes for us as well. And then we're going to put a little hat on him, and we're going to... Sorry, there's a dog outside. My neighbor's dog is eating someone's trash. Anyways, all right. I'm going to wrap this up. Maybe I'll show you a picture of Figment in his birthday hat. I'll try. Hope you guys are doing well. Talk to you soon.